What is going on, everybody, and welcome to a brand new video on my channel. If you're new, my name is Elite, and I do a lot of FIFA trading, squad building challenge guides, trading to glory series, and a lot more FIFA 19 content. And if you guys are clicking on this video, you might notice it's probably going to be a longer video because of the fact that this isn't a beginning of FIFA trading guide. This isn't even a specific trading guide for FIFA 19. This is a just general overview trading guide. Basically, when you guys are done watching this video, if you didn't know how to trade in FIFA before, you're gonna know how to trade by the end. You're gonna know how to invest, you're gonna know how the market works, everything along those lines. So I spent a few hours putting together a little bit of, I guess, an essay, honestly, and I'll pull up the pages on your screen. We'll go ahead and pull up page 1 real quick. And basically, I just explain trading in the hopefully clearest way possible, and I posted it to my Twitter, which is @TheElite, if you guys want to go follow it. Link down below, shameless plug. But I explain everything you need to know. Not everything. There was a couple things I forgot that after I was done, I was like, okay, I should have put that in as well. And we're going to cover that in the video, but a lot of people were like, hey, I hate reading. So I was like, okay, I'll make a video and I'll read it and I'll explain everything in even a clearer way than what you guys can see in the article. So let's go ahead and get started with this, guys. As you guys can see, I've got FIFA 19 pre-ordered. I'm ready for it. I'm going to be getting it on the 25th because I have the Champions. No, I have the Ultimate Edition. But I'm game sharing it from a friend, and the reason I'm doing that is because I want to do just trading, so I don't want the free packs, but I do want it a few days early. So that was kind of the deal, and that was the best way for me to do it for the Trading to Glory series, so I don't get any free packs or anything. That gives me an advantage over top of anybody else, other than the fact that, yes, I get it 3 days earlier. If you do get it early, you get it on the 25th. If you get the Standard Edition, you get it on the 28th, and the web app should be dropping on the 19th or 20th. I can't remember, but one of those 2 days, so we're only like 11 days away, maybe a little bit less. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I'm kind of gonna read it, kind of not, kind of really just giving you an overview. I'm not just gonna read you guys what I wrote. But I explained that FIFA's not the stock market, guys. It's not. You're not competing with, you know, the Wolf of Wall Street for trades, for deals, none of that. It's actually a lot easier than what you guys might think in terms of trading. Maybe somebody has explained trading on the market to you before and you're like, okay, that sounds really difficult, but it's actually not. It's quite simple and it's very easy to get into. And once you get into, you can continue to get better and better and better throughout experience. Just observing the market can give you help, simple stuff like that. And a lot of you guys might not understand squad building challenges or even the transfer market at this point, and that's okay. I'm going to try to explain it to you guys as well. And then for you guys that have a lot of experience for FIFA, I'm going to dig deeper and show you guys trading methods, different investing methods that I like, but are more of a broad sense, not specific to a single event. So this is again, it's exactly easy. No games played, no FIFA points, no coin sponsors, and I'm not charging you guys anything for my content at all. You guys know that for a fact. Not on Twitch, not on Twitter, not on YouTube. All of this stuff is free. Obviously, I'm going to throw some ads on it, but that's free as well. They're 5 seconds. You can skip them. I don't care. Let's go ahead and get into the basics of trading. So the basics I kind of made into 2 segments. I split it up into supply and I split it up into demand, because a lot of the times I'll throw those two together, but they're very different in a way. They do rely on each other for determining the price of a card, but supply and demand are very different. So with supply, the initial supply is coming from packs. That's how the cards enter the market. The more cards there are, the less their price will be. On Sundays, for example, the supply is super high because of the weekly release of Squad Battle Rewards, which drives the prices lower. And that's when you go ahead and bid on those cards, and you snipe them and you get them really cheap, and then you wait 24 hours and they're back up in price because of all the supply that happened on Sunday night. So that is an example of a lot of supply hitting the market. And that's why my Sunday bidding is such a popular series on my Twitch channel. If you guys did not know, every Sunday for FIFA 19, I will be streaming on Twitch, and I'll be doing trading for Sunday bidding. It's one of my popular series on Twitch. But let's consider squad building challenges, because packs are the overall, yeah, that's where the supply is coming from. But there's different, you know, forms of supply hitting the market. And so let's take a look at squad building challenges. Think about the fact that player of the month. let's say, player of the month Lucas is who's going to be the first player of the month. So we'll use that as an example here. Player of the month Lucas is going to be dropping early October, maybe late September. People are going to be buying all of these like Lucas cards, Fred from Manchester United because he's Brazilian, just investments for Lucas in general in anticipation for this SBC to drop. This might not be a great example because it's right at the beginning of FIFA, so let's just assume that this is a month into FIFA. People are picking up all their cards weeks and weeks in advance. We're picking them up even earlier, but every investor in the game has got their cards ready for this to drop. So once the squad building challenge does drop for the Lucas Player of the Month, all those investors, everybody who has those cards in preparation for the Player of the Month SBC to drop are going to be listing them on the market, whether they're required or not. It doesn't matter. They're all going to be hitting the market. Obviously, if they're required, they're not going to drop as much, but the supply is going to hit there. If the requirement is there, the demand shows up. We'll talk about that in a second. The demand shows up if the requirement's there, but if there's no requirement, then the prices just plummet. Almost down to discard price most of the time if they're not needed in SBC and they're really invested in. So that's definitely something to think about with supply hitting the market. It doesn't have to be just from packs. It can be from over-investing as well. So on the other hand, demand can come from a lot more different places than supply. So supply can hit the market through, a lot of packs being opened, an event starting, obviously an SBC dropping and investors hitting the market, people like us, but not us. I'll explain that later with selling into the hype and everything. But it's much more difficult to predict something's demand than it is to predict something's supply, because what you can do is you can actually go onto the market, guys, and you can find how much supply a certain card has pretty simply, guys. Let's go and take a look at Heung-min Son's special cards. If you take a look at this, you know that there are about 4 pages of special card Suns. So you know how much supply is on the market, and then you know if an SBC is going to drop soon, or if he's in packs and there's going to be a lot of packs open for an event like Team of the Year or Black Friday, you know there's going to be more supply. It's pretty easy to determine when there's going to be a lot of supply and when there's going to be no supply. It's very easy to determine that. The hard part is determining the demand, which is why I split these two up, because one is much more difficult to understand than the other. So demand can be found in lots and lots of different places. So in a way, this is how I explained it, you would have to enter the mind of the average consumer, the average player, people playing weekend league, but not really as advanced traders as we are. So we're entering the mind of an average player. So weekend league players need their teams every Friday to Sunday. So they're going to need these cards. There's demand on Thursdays because people are buying their players for weekend league, which is starting soon. So there's demand right there. And then, what did I say next? The fluctuation of the market will roughly follow the trend of rising on Thursdays, which I just explained, and then dropping on Sundays, because obviously people who played the weekend league will dump their supply onto the market on Sundays. So rises on Thursdays, drops on Sundays. Kind of gives you a little bit of an understanding there. So we're on to page 2 now. Stacking your club with 83 rated in anticipation of a Team of the Week SBC, buying 100 Jerry Mina cards in preparation for an inevitable marquee matchup of the Merseyside Derby, Everton versus Liverpool, or controlling an informed money market after he scores a hat-trick towards POTM. No matter what SBC, it's going to affect the market in one way or the other. So we're talking about demand from SBCs. Most demand from cards are found either naturally from gameplay needs, which is weekend league, which is divisions, division rivals, squad building, squad battles, and all of that stuff. Then EA themselves can artificially rise a price. When I say artificially, it means that these cards aren't actually that valuable, but people need them to complete a squad building challenge, so they can rise them up that way. So that's another way that demand can hit the market, but there's tons more. Like, let's say Matt HD Gamer, a very big influencer, gets hundreds of thousands of views per video, uploads a video on Michail Antonio at the beginning of FIFA saying, hey, this is the best cheap Premier League card in the game. I love him. He's awesome. Which is fine. But then when 200,000 people watch that video and they say, hey, Matt HD Gamer thinks this guy is a great player. I want to try him out too. He's 2,000 coins right now. I'm going to buy him. And then the next guy comes along and he's 2,200 coins and he says, I'm going to buy him. And, 200 people later, that card's extinct. So it kind of affects the market that way as well. There's so many different places that demand can come from. And if you think about it, my channel can even affect the prices of players. Let's say I were to go out and say, hey guys, what you need to do right now is you need to pick up a ton of Zhang Yuning cards, right? You need to pick up a ton of Zhang Yuning cards because he was friends with Lukaku and Lukaku's going to get player of the month. This is the guy you need to pick up. And obviously a lot of you guys will be like, okay, that's not true. But there's a lot of people that will blindly follow and just be like, hey, I'm going to buy this card because I blindly trust this guy. Now, I would never do that to you guys, but you get what I'm saying. I can just affect the demand for this card because I have an influence to a few of you guys, and there's a decent amount of people that watch my videos. If enough of them believe me, there's demand for this card out of nowhere. I created that. Anybody can create demand for a card, which is why it's so much harder to determine where's the demand going to come from. As opposed to where the supply is going to come from, because we know where the supply is coming from. We don't exactly know everything about where the demand's coming from. It's a little bit more difficult to predict. So let's talk about why certain investments fail, because I get these questions all the time, and I experience it as well. We all do. We all end up saying, I should have waited longer to buy, or I should have sold my cards yesterday. 2020 hindsight, very, very easy to say that stuff, but sometimes you just mess up, and it's inevitable. It's going to happen to all of us. It's going to happen to me, all right? I'm going to screw up in FIFA 19 at some point, all right? And I'm going to take an L, and it just happens. It happens to the best of the traders, all right? But there are methods to decreasing the possibilities of failed investments. Now, let's go ahead and get into the number one way to never, ever lose coins on an investment. Literally 100% of the time, you will make profit without fail. It's called selling into the hype. It's the number one rule. I have an emote for it on Twitch. That's how much I care about this concept of selling into the hype. I started saying this a couple years ago, and it's really caught on in the trading community, and I love it. It's a basic concept, but it can take you so far. So let me explain what it means to you guys who are like, what the hell does that mean? The hype is when a majority of the community, the average player, is having their focus on a specific investment, all right? So let's go back to Player of the Month, and we're going to go ahead and use Player of the Month as an example for selling into the hype again. So if Aguero has an amazing week on the first week of October, say he scores 4 goals against Brighton or something, I'm already going to be buying those cards in preparation for the Player of the Month that won't drop for another month and 2 days, right? I'm picking up Argentinian informs. I'm picking up Pereira, gold card, because he's an Argentinian in the Premier League. I'm picking up players like that. I'm picking up Man City players that are between 80 and 83 rated. I'm buying all these guys for discard price or whatever their price is before the inflation, getting into the hype of the Player of the Month. So the more demand for the investments, the higher the prices are going to go. So the longer you wait, the more demand there's going to be. You see how this correlates now. The longer you wait, the more people are going to be like, hey, let me buy an Argentinian inform because Aguero is probably going to win Player of the Month. You get to week 4, he's got 7 goals in the month. You know for a fact he's going to be winning Player of the Month. And I already bought my cards 3 weeks ago. And there's going to be people in that last week saying, hey, I already know Aguero's going to be winning. I'm ahead of the curve. I'm going to buy my cards before the SBC drops. And you know what I do? I don't even wait till the SBC drops. I sell it to those guys. I sell my cards the night before to people who are last-minute buying investments for Aguero, who will lose coins if they don't get super lucky. And I go ahead and guarantee my profit. I sleep tight into the morning. I don't even worry about who ends up winning Player of the Month. It doesn't even have to be Aguero winning Player of the Month because I already made my profit the night before because I sold into the hype. So that is the most important aspect of really guaranteeing your profit every single time. Now, there's not always going to be a trade or an investment where you're going to be selling into the hype. Sometimes you're like, hey, the market's super low right now. I'm going to invest for a week later when the market rises again. And there's really no hype to sell into there. So it only really works for events, promotions, SBCs, and things along those lines. So there are ways to prevent yourself from losing coins on investments, but it's only for certain investments that you can guarantee that profit. Now, what I will say is that if you hold your cards until, let's say, the Player of the Month drops, you are going to lose more coins than you are going to make throughout the year. And I can say that from experience because I've tried it and tried it and tried it. All right. Even after I'm like, okay, it doesn't work. I tried a couple times more just to make sure. And I'll probably try it again this year just to make sure again. It doesn't work. All right. Sometimes you get lucky and it works out really well. You invest in an inform Mane, and that Mane inform is needed in the SBC, and you get super lucky. But most of the time, it does not work like that. Trust me. Do not make the mistakes that I have made for you in the past. I have failed, so you won't. All right? Let's go ahead and finish up why certain investments fails. There's two different reasons, and I've kind of already explained them. This is just a recap. We waited far too long to buy our Aguero investments, and they already rose in price. Were you the guy that waited until the week before, the night before, to buy your Aguero investments? Well, it's too late then. Even if you're 2 weeks beforehand and people are already preparing, you see the Twitter traders are already on it. You see the player of the month investment guides already hitting Twitter all over the place saying, hey, buy Fred right now because Lucas is going to need Fred for the SBC. You're already a little bit late. Now, there's definitely still time occasionally. So, you know, I uploaded my Player of the Month video way before this Lucas is going to drop. So if you watched that video the day of, yeah, you're still good. Even the day after, you're still good. But you wait a week after, it's too late. You're going to be the person buying the cards back from me who bought them a week ago. So yeah, and then you didn't sell into the hype. You held your investments until the actual SBC dropped and they weren't required. Simple as that. Let's go ahead and get into our first and probably actually only trading method I'm going to discuss in this video because it's such a simple, easy method for trading that everybody should do all the time, okay? You should do this every single card you list, okay? For the most part. So it's called Tech Avion, and I don't speak French, and I don't even know what Tech Avion means. I think it's something to do with a plane. I don't actually know. But the French trading community has actually been a big factor on how much I have grown my knowledge for trading. The French traders, Dutsinho is one of them that I follow on Twitter. They're very smart guys as well. And, you know, you can turn on, you know, the subtitles on their videos and stuff like that. And I learn because, you know, I know all the techniques and the methods from the English community because I'm a part of it. And so it's easier for me to access, but I go out of my way. I can learn new things from different communities that nobody in my community actually really interacts with too much. And that's why I did it. And Tech Avion actually became really big in our entire community last year. And it got annoying at one point because everybody was doing it. And people were like, oh, Elite, you ruined Tech Avion by uploading a video on it. But truthfully, that's not the case. Tech Avion works no matter what. So this is kind of how it works, guys. It's very simple. It's very easy. It's very effective. And that's the important part. What you're going to do is, let's say you are going to go ahead and pick up an Ericsson. You want to make an Ericsson investment. You can actually combine this with investments as well to maximize your profit. But we're going to go ahead and just use Ericsson as an example here. I just kind of threw this off the top of my head, so hopefully it works. Now, normally I like to do it with cards that are like 50 to 100K. I think it works best with that range, 50 to 100K. I figured Ericsson would honestly be more expensive than 17K, but given the fact that FIFA is pretty dead right now, this is the case. But this is actually a great example right now because you have an Ericsson. Let's ignore the ratings, all right? Ignore the ratings. Not important. You got an Ericsson right now with a Hunter card on him. There's a Hunter card right here. So we're going to go and buy that because it's not only the cheapest card on the market, but it has a Hunter card, which is the most expensive chemistry style in the game. So we picked that up for 500 coins less, but we already know it's got a Hunter card on it. And the craziest part is that this is going to work for me right now. Like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow with profit. Let me explain. We're going to go over to our club. All right, that was the first card we searched. So, you know, you search 5 cards, you're going to get at least one right there. We're 1 for 1 there. So we're going to go ahead and add Ericsson to our club. And this is what we're going to do. We just go ahead and take that. We already have a Hunter card on him. We're going to apply consumables, contracts, and fitness. So a lot of us might have a ton of contract and a ton of fitness already in our club. Some of us might need to buy it, but it's worth it because it's only like 200 coins no matter what time in FIFA it is. So you go ahead and buy those. You get them up to $99.99, and look at that. Now this card is super appealing to the buyer. It's super appealing. It's got a hunter card. It's the best chemistry style. It's got 99 contracts. It's got 99 fitness. It couldn't be any better. Now, I don't add attribute cards because a lot of people actually don't like the attribute cards, and I'm one of them. So I just stay away from that. And I go ahead and I take this card, and I'm going to go ahead and list him up on the market for, let's go 17.5 thousand coins. So obviously we spent 14K, 17.5K is going to make us about 2,000 coin profit after tax, but this is a lower ranged card, so it's not going to make you as much. As I said earlier, 50 to 100K is kind of my, best range for this method, because what you'll do is you'll just go and list that card back up on the market. Now, I did forget to do something because I am trying to explain it to you guys. What I meant to do there is list it up for 12 hours. Now, it's fine. I can just relist it in an hour, but list it up for 12 hours overnight, and you don't have to worry about it. And throughout the night, there are points in the night where that card is going to get a little bit more rare. There's just not anybody awake to relist their cards. So those cards that were up for 15K and up for 16K, a lot of those are going to expire. Not all of them, but a lot of them, most of them will expire, and the person who listed them won't be awake anymore to relist that card, which leaves your Ericsson as the cheapest one, or one of the cheapest ones on the market. Thus, this card having a hunter and 99 contract and 99 fitness, super appealing to the buyer, it's very likely it gets bought throughout the night. I'd say if you listed 100 cards, 75 would probably get bought throughout the night. Some of them maybe you listed for a little bit too high, you got a little bit too greedy. Some of them simply just did not get bought, but that's okay. Most of the time it works, and it's an easy way to go ahead and, spend 30 minutes before you get off for the night. Since 30 minutes buying a couple cards, doing Tech Avion, definitely focus on cards that have good chemistry styles like Hunter, Shadow, Catalyst, Hawk, Finisher, Engine, stuff like that. Just not any of the crappy ones. So it doesn't even have to be the best one like Hunter. It can literally just be any of the decent ones like Engine, which costs like 400 coins. A lot of you might have that in your club already, which you can use on cards that just have basic on them already, or you just buy them off the market with them already applied, like the one I just did there. So that's what I do for Tech Avion, guys, and it's a very good trading method that you can literally apply to any card that you buy. Literally any card you buy. Obviously, it's most effective if you're doing it with 50 to 100K, as I said, but you can apply that to any card just to make it more appealing to the buyer for them to pick it up. So let's go ahead and move on to the next page, guys. We're over halfway done. So if you guys have been enjoying this video, make sure to drop a like. I did put a lot of work into it, so it would mean a lot. And subscribe to the channel if you want more trading tips, squad building challenge guides, the Trading to Glory series, which is starting soon. I am actually getting super hyped for Trading to Glory. It's going to be the best series on YouTube for FIFA 19. I am so hyped for it. So you guys can see at the top, I kind of put the steps for Tech Avion. So if you guys didn't understand when I was explaining it, you might understand the steps up there. Obviously, I'm making this video more for the people that are more visual learners and help when I'm kind of talking to them rather than them having to read and comprehend it themselves. Because honestly, I love to write. I guess you can tell, but I hate reading. I hate to read, and I'm not very good at comprehension with reading. So I totally understand it, which is why I kind of like making videos too, because I love watching videos and I love making videos. So let's go ahead and get on the next thing, which is sniping. Now, I put this kind of under the trading category of this article, but you could argue that sniping isn't really trading. But the reason that I kind of consider them to be one in themselves is because I consider trading to be immediate profit or quick profit, where you buy something and you list it back on the market immediately. You buy that card for Tech Avion, you apply that stuff, you apply the chemistry style, the position changes, the fitness, all that stuff. And you list it back on the market immediately. You might list it for a while, but you list it back on the market to sell immediately. For investing, what you do is you buy a card in anticipation that it will rise, and you hold that on your transfer list until it's time to sell, which is kind of why I consider them a little bit different. But you can kind of snipe and combine that with investing, or you can just snipe and make profit in itself. Sniping is probably one of the best ways to make profit if you have a small amount of coins. If you have 3,000 coins and you want to get to 20K, sniping. It's so good. It's because it's immediate profit and it's quite easy, and you don't need any chemistry styles, fitness, or anything like that for Tech Avion. It's just very simple to snipe in realistic card. Now, if you guys don't know what sniping means, and I'm not going to be able to do a very good example because there's 200,000 cards on the market for Xbox. Nothing's going to be popping up for me. It's freaking September 8th. Nobody's playing FIFA 18 anymore but me. So we're going to go ahead and just take a look at one filter, for example. Let's take a look at marquee matchups right now. This is an example of sniping a card for profit. So marquee matchups right now, you've got Portugal versus Croatia, Colombia, Brazil, United States, Scott. None of these are going to be going up in price, but let's just use, I don't know, the Venezuela gold cards, for example. Venezuela gold cards, for example. This is a terrible example. I'm just throwing it out there, but it hopefully will get the point across. So I want Venezuelan gold cards. I think Rondon is Venezuelan, so that'll be an example. Yep. So none of them have gone up in price because nobody does marquee matchups anymore. But let's assume they did go up in price for the sake of this argument. What we're going to do is we're going to set our max price at something like 10 million coins. All right, we're going to use Premier League defenders from Arsenal instead, because they'll probably be more expensive. Maybe not. Okay, this actually is a little bit of a better example. So Premier League defenders from Arsenal. I want to snipe these cards. We know they go for 750 coins, right? So to get them to sell for 750 coins, to make profit, we're going to need to get it for 700 or less. And honestly, we don't want to get it for 700 because even then it's like 40 coin tax. You're making 10 coins. So we'll set it at 650. So this works for no matter what your bin is. You're buying now. But your max price you'll set at 10 million. So we've got our filter. We've got it set at 10 million. And what we're going to do is you're going to go down by 2 each time. There is a best method for sniping. Everybody has a different method for sniping. This is the best method, all right? Throw anything you knew about sniping in the garbage, unless it was this. This is the best method for sniping. Because if you go down by 1 each time, you're much more prone to getting banned by EA temporarily from the market. So you can't get on the market when you're temporarily banned from the market. EA used that system to keep bots off the market that generate coins, which is a good thing, but it's kind of a crappy system because it thinks you're a bot when you're not. So to prevent that, for the most part, I'd say it's 5 to 10 times way more effective. 5 to 10 times more effective, way more effective than you're going down by 1. Just simply go down by 2 each time. So you go down to 96, 94, 92, 90, 88. And you keep doing this for as long as you have to until a card pops up. And then once that card pops up, right here, once that card pops up, you buy it as quick as you can, just like that. Now, obviously, a card didn't pop up there. I was just using that as an example. That's sniping. If you guys did not know how to snipe or what sniping was, that's sniping, and that's the best method for sniping. So let's go ahead and continue. Sniping is a great way to make profit at the beginning. So if I were to buy that Chambers for 800, I'd probably be wanting to sell that on for 1,000 or more. And I make a couple hundred coins, and I continue to do that. And I list it back up and make 200 coins immediately. I go back to the market. I continue to do this, and it just builds coins continuously. So I love sniping, especially if you combine it with an investment. So let's say I want an Inform Mane for a Player of the Month. I know I've been using Player of the Month as an example a lot, but it's a really good event for trading and investing, so it's a good example. Let's say Mane is going to get a Player of the Month, or he has a Player of the Month. Actually, no, let's say he's going to get a Player of the Month. So Mane's going to get a Player of the Month. And we want to invest in a Inform Mane. So we go to the market, and I'm not going to go ahead and buy the first one. I'm going to wait until a cheaper one pops up. I'm going to keep refreshing. I'm going to keep sniping. One pops up, I buy it, and then I go ahead and hold it. So that maximizes my profit. I already have a deal on Mane that I'm probably going to make profit on, and he's going to go up in price. Everything more is more and more profit. So it's kind of combining investing with sniping to maximize profit. So I love adding sniping to investing. I normally do that with literally every investment I make. Sometimes if I'm mass investing, sometimes I'll just buy every card on the market. If I were on my other account, I bought, like a month ago in FIFA 18, I went and I was like, okay, I have 600K. I know this card's going to go up. Like, I don't really care about coins in this game anymore. FIFA 18's over. But you know what? I know this is going to go up, so I might as well just go ahead and put 600K into the pink Festival of Football Thalvin card. And I did. I put 600K into that, and I turned that 600K into 900K. but I didn't snipe any of the cards. I just went and bought the like 10 cheapest Thalvins on the market, and I waited for them to go up in price. So that, sometimes I use sniping. Most of the times I use sniping for investments. Sometimes I don't. So let's go and move on to the end of the article for the most part, and this is getting more into an advanced understanding of the market. The market prices, they can and they will rise and fall as a whole, not just individually. So most of the articles so far, most of the videos so far, we've been talking about just individual examples, player of the month, team of the year, stuff like that. These are individual examples. Certain cards are going to rise, certain cards are going to fall based on who's in the SBC, what's required, what's the hype for. But the market is going to rise and fall as a whole sometimes, and a lot of the times. So if there's like a coin glitch, which has happened before in FIFA multiple times. It didn't happen in FIFA 18, I don't believe, but it did happen in FIFA 17. It was in about March, and this was the glitch. People were setting up bots that just played games automatically on their accounts, right? So these bots are playing games automatically, and they're losing because they're bots. They're probably not even moving their players, but they're playing these games and they're getting the 300, 400, 500 coin reward at the end for completing the match. And then they automatically go into other matches. And that adds up because if games are like 15 minutes and that's 4 games an hour and you're playing 24 hours a day every single day over the course of a couple weeks, they are gaining a lot of coins on those accounts. And that's what happened until EA put a stop to it. But during that time, we saw these accounts getting millions and millions of coins on them just from this glitch and this coin glitch, and prices on the market rose a ton. A ton. These Laurent Blanc legend cards back in FIFA 17 went from 500k to 900k because all these accounts had so many coins, and obviously the people that owned the accounts wanted the coins for a reason, whether it to be buy a super good card or sell them to coin sites. But if coin sites get cheaper prices and people are buying them for cheaper prices, there's still more coins on the market, and the more coins that there are on the market, the prices are going to rise. Does that make sense? It's the concept of inflation. It's all about inflation. I'm sure you guys have heard the word before. A lot of you probably already understand what it means. Some of you maybe not. That's okay. But inflation is simply when a coin, a dollar, a pound, is worth less. It's still a pound. It's still 1 pound. But it's not worth as much because the things that you're buying with the pound cost more. It's inflation. So to start FIFA 19, what we'll see is we're going to see the game start with very little coins. Nobody has traded. Nobody has played games yet. And very few people have opened FIFA points. Everybody essentially starting with nothing. And with that being said, the people who are packing things in their starter packs and in their FIFA point packs, at the very beginning of the games, they're going to be listing their cards up on the market. And maybe they packed Ronaldo, but they list that Ronaldo up and nobody can afford that Ronaldo. And they list their Martial up for 50k, and nobody can spend 50k in the first couple hours of the game. Nobody has the coins for that. Nobody can afford that card. So that sometimes causes cards to either drop in price a ton at the beginning of the game because nobody can afford them. So this Martial's that will be 50k is listed up for 4k because nobody has the coins for it yet. But you get a week in, you get 2 weeks in, people have played 50 games, people have traded for a couple of weeks. People have bought their FIFA points and opened all their packs, and people have hundreds of thousands of coins. They have coins to spend. There's more coins in the game as a whole. The prices are going to rise. So, quick tip, I've explained this in a previous video, buy your cards as soon as possible because they are going to rise a ton. That's what I do every year. I trade as much as I can in the first couple of days, just grinding it. Grinding every single hour that I can get, 10 hours a day at least, on school days. Just getting as many coins as I can to invest early to be before everybody else. And I make these investments and I can get off the ground super quick because that Renato Sanchez that I invested in for 700 coins is 6,000 coins now. That Martial that I picked up for 4k is 27,000 coins. And it happens every year. And it will happen again this year without fail. Without fail. It'll happen for the Team of the Week 1 as well. That's a really good one because those things go out of packs too. They're not going to permanently be on the market. Those things skyrocket until December. It's insane. So I can see how a lot of people will get confused by the overall inflation topic or deflation, like with market crashes, because market crashes are a little bit trickier. They can cause the deflation of the market prices through overwhelming supply. Everybody's opening packs. It might be Black Friday. Everybody's opening the special packs. They're throwing these cards in the market, undercutting each other. These prices are dropping a ton. So these cards drop a ton, but there's more coins in the market. If you think about it, people opening packs with FIFA points, assuming people aren't opening them with coins, which doesn't happen that often, assuming most people are opening them with FIFA points instead of coins, there's more coins in the game. Why are the cards not going up in price? Why, if Ronaldo is 1 million coins before Black Friday and then 700K during Black Friday, why does he not reach 1.1 million after Black Friday? Why does he only go back up to like 850K? Well, there's a couple reasons for that. But the main reason that I probably will point it out to is the longer the game goes on, the less valuable each card becomes. That Mbappe 87 rated card that we're seeing, which is super good. It's one of the best cards that have been released so far that we know of in FIFA 19. It's insane. But it's so much more valuable to a weekend league player in October than it will be in June, because in June there's going to be 100 players of that caliber. So Mbappe, it's not that valuable anymore. The longer you wait in the game, the less value that card has, simply because there's other options now. Informs, man of the match, hero, team of the year, team of the season, etc., etc. It causes the value to go down. So even though there's more coins on the market, there's more cards to choose from, which is why those cards don't essentially rise back up. So to be clear, to help you guys get a better understanding of this, let's say there weren't any informs, no man of the match, no upgrade, no special cards in the entire game. Let's assume that was the case, which is not, but let's assume that's the case. That Mbappe card will just continue to rise throughout the year, because that Mbappe card is one of the most valuable cards at the beginning of the game. It definitely will be up there with Messi and Ronaldo and De Bruyne and all those big cards. That Mbappe card is going to be super valuable, and it might be 100K on day one. And by 2 weeks in, it's 400,000 coins. And then if there's no special cards, that's still the most valuable, one of the most valuable cards in the game. It's going to go up to 600,000 coins. And the longer you wait, the more games are being played, the more FIFA points are being opened, the more coins are being gained in the game. There's more coins that Mbappe will continue to rise, 2 million to 3 million to 4 million if there were no special cards. But that's not the case. So you kind of have to consider the fact that there are and balance it. You got to consider everything when it comes to investing, because there will be inflation. The coin will be less valuable the longer you wait into the game, but sometimes the cards still won't get back up to what they were beforehand just because there's other choices. So let's go into the final tips and conclude this 40-minute video, which will be one of the longest, if not the longest, videos I have on my channel ever and ever will be. It's going to be my 6th year of trading on FIFA, and I do still enjoy it. I encourage you guys to use this guide to learn how to trade in FIFA. You can watch the video, you can read the guide, it's on my Twitter. It's everything you need to know to get started. I think if you guys didn't know anything at the beginning, you probably know a lot now, at least the basics. It's completely free, transparent, informative, everything in terms of content I give to you guys. I'm not going to charge you for anything, all right? I don't want to. I have no interest in that. It's not important to me. Obviously, I'm going to throw ads on the video. Hopefully, you're all right with that. If you're not, I don't care. But this in the Trading to Glory series and on my channel, this is where you can get a deeper knowledge of trading on the market. But just trust me, guys, it's not going to be an overnight thing. That guide isn't going to teach you everything you know how to trade. It's going to teach you everything you know to get started, and it's going to give you a big jump start if you didn't trade before. But it's not going to teach you everything you need to know. There's a couple things you need to do. One, you need to put time and effort into learning and trading and gaining your coins. This stuff isn't a 15-minute you get on, you get off thing. You kind of got to put a couple hours into it. And especially if you're new, it's going to take a little bit longer. Like, yeah, sometimes I can hop on, do 30 minutes, make 50K, get off if I wanted to. But if I want to be the best, if I want to be the best trader there is, I'm going to have to put more hours into it. Because, yeah, I could be the smartest trader. I could be the most informative trader. I could be just the best overall talent in trading. But I don't put in the hours. You know, I'm not going to really have that to show for it, because a lot of it, honestly, comes down to how much time you have to put into it. So yeah, it's going to take time and effort. No one becomes a successful trader overnight, although some people on Twitter may claim to have done so. And yeah, this is the full video on YouTube covering the article. So that's it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like, drop a subscription. Jesus Christ, I did that all in one take. So I'm going to go take a nap. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.